All right, it's showtime. Hey, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. Today, got a good one. You need to be sure to ask Rebecca. She is a political junkie. She watches all the time. But hey, today, keep in mind that today we're going to keep it very respectful. As always, you've heard me say in the past, we believe that anybody should do whatever they want to, believe what they want to, so long as your actions and your choices don't affect other people. So, hey, for example, me and God, we're like this, man. We best friends. But if you don't believe in God, that's okay. I don't get mad. I believe you got the right to be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a doorknob, be a doorknob. I don't care what, as long as you don't affect other people. So, hey, today, politics is one of those topics that's really, people can go nuts, right, and get ugly. So remember, be respectful. We're respectful of whatever you believe. So don't get ugly in the comments. If you get ugly in the comments, I'll ban you. Just be respectful, okay? I'll be asking you questions. Who do you think is going to win? Why do you think they're going to win? And it really doesn't matter to me because I'm not for Kamala Harris. I'm not for Trump, okay? I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. First and foremost, I am a Christian, and I vote based on a person's, what their policies are, okay? And if they align with what I believe, okay? So anyway, today I'm going to ask questions, but most importantly, I'm going to be talking in general. What do I think is going to happen if she wins? What should you do? What should you consider? If you're for her, think about this. If you're against her, think about this. What happens if Trump wins? What do I think is going to happen? And what should you do? What should you be thinking about? We're going to be kind of going back for it, and I want your opinion on what's happening. Now, keep in mind, I love to talk about this because, believe it or not, as I do my research, over 2,000 times a month, people are asking what are the 2024 presidential predictions and how does it affect Costa Rica? People want to know because if you're serious about coming to Costa Rica, you want to know what's going on. And I hope today we can answer some of those questions. Okay. So remember, keep it nice, be respectful. Okay. But you are who you are. And you deserve to have your own belief and support whoever you want to support. So before we get started, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Alan. This is my wonderful co-host, Rebecca. Hello. And we've been in Costa Rica, since 2013.
Right.
So why should people even listen to us? I mean, we just came over here, lived in the mountains, don't know nothing.
They don't have anything better to do than to listen to a couple of hillbilly.
No. We have actually been all over Costa Rica, living in over 20, 25 different locations. And, we just, we do a lot of stuff with Ticos. I've hired and fired and worked with Ticos side by side. So, we know a lot about the culture, a lot about Costa Rica. We've made every mistake in the book. And the reason that we do this is because we want to help you to get the information you need. We're the only channel that's not trying to sell you Costa Rica so that you can buy more of our products and services. We don't care whether you come or not, but if you do come, we want you to get the truth and the whole truth, okay? So, did you hear something back there? Sound like we got a tree gonna fall on us. Look out. We might be running. What did you hear?
It's something big.
Yeah, but something back there, huh?
Yeah.
Could be Bigfoot. Yeah, that's my brother. He was coming to visit.
Probably a tree falling with all this water.
Before we get started on the topic of politics and who's going to win, what's been happening on the off-grid homestead? Well, we got 2 weeks worth of updates.
That's true. We weren't here last weekend, so still not much happened even in the 2 weeks.
Well, I lost about 3 days going to San Jose to my veterans appointment. Can't wait to tell you more about veteran benefits in Costa Rica. And I lost a few days to some natural disasters. But hey, instead of me telling you about it, well, why don't we just watch this clip?
It is the middle of October. We're at the height of our rainy season, and we have been getting a lot of rain. I sure hope we only have 2 or 3 weeks left of this rainy season. In the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a lot of water, and I'm past ready for dry season to start. But even in Costa Rica, these winter mornings, it feels like a fall day in the United States. If you're a hunter, you can relate, because you wake up and the air is nippy and you're like, wow, this is a perfect day to go squirrel hunting or go sit in my deer stand. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And even though we're in the center of Costa Rica, right there near the Continental Divide, on a beautiful day like today, after it's rained really hard, well, you can see all the way to the mountains that's near the coast. Of course, those mountains are already coming alive. The sun's not being blocked by the mountains nearby. It is yet another beautiful day in Costa Rica. Last we talked, I was done sanding the countertop and now need to stain it, which proved to be a bit of a challenge. I brushed on a lot of stain because the Tico that sold me the stain said I needed this type of brush, and that's what I need to do. But I didn't like how it turned out. I'm a really transparent guy, and I'll share my mistakes in hopes you don't make the same mistakes. While I have a lot of experience, I don't know everything, and this is the first time I'm staining a countertop. I didn't like the results from brushing on the stain, so I sanded all of it off, did some research on YouTube, and started over. I applied stain with a t-shirt, which looked a lot better, and immediately wiped off all the excess stain. After one coat of stain, the countertop was looking much better than when I tried brushing on the stain. After 3 coats of stain, the color was about what Rebecca wanted, and now it was time to protect the countertop with some varnish. But before I could start that process, well, we got some more damaging rain this week, which resulted in losing 3 days of building to clearing out 2 more landslides. The first one is not too bad. However, we're not getting out, and I told you folks I need to go to San Jose for my veteran appointments, but more on that later. This other landslide was in the same place as last week. The rains caused more dirt and rocks to come down. It can be really dangerous working on these landslides, and you have to be really careful. This day, while moving all of this dirt, a huge boulder dislodged and almost fell on my neighbor. It did knock him down. Thankfully, he managed to get out before the boulder rolled on him, but not without nearly breaking his leg. It took all day to get this spot cleaned up, and then the next day we had to tackle the other landslide. Thanks to my good old horse, I use it often to pull out logs and small tree trunks. So having a good 4x4 really comes in handy when you live as remote as we do. This galloper really has been a lifesaver. Eventually, we cleared the road, and I spent a couple of days in San Jose seeing doctors, and when I returned, I applied the varnish. After about 3 coats, it looked pretty good. But while you can't see it in this video, I could see bubbles in my varnish. So once again, I didn't like the end result, which meant I had to sand off the varnish and all of the stain. While some would say it looks good enough, if I can't do it right, well, let's not do it at all. So it's back to doing more research on YouTube, and hopefully I'll finish up this countertop next week. But I still have to close in that office deck. All right, so I have the end of my office platform closed in on the left and on the right, and then this is on the inside. So that's put together. I had to cut some more metal because I realized that once that office platform is back where it belongs, then it's going to be hard for me to close this in. So I had to cut some metal for this right here so that I can then, I'm going to put a piece of this same material here, which is plystone, which meant another trip into town to buy one more sheet of plystone. put that up against that, and I'll frame it in with this right here that will eventually be black. And so it'll be framed in kind of like the windows, but then the center will be painted white with that ply rock, and it'll be look good. It will look kind of like sheetrock. So that's coming along. Got to let that dry, but we're getting closer. But now let's talk about how the presidential election can affect life in Costa Rica.
All right. So, hey, it's been I feel like I didn't get a whole lot done in the last 2 weeks, but did a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah, and I want to correct something I said. I said we don't have anything better to do than to be here. Well, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do all the time. Especially you know, with all this rain, now the water filter is clogged up because, you know, it's always
on a homestead. You got a lot to do. And of course, it's not, you know, for the folks thinking about going to Costa Rica, that wouldn't be normal situations for most of you guys. You'd be in town and you wouldn't have all the stuff that I do. On a homestead, we're out in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, we're building a homestead in the forest that we had to actually clear out. So,
yeah.
anyway, she was joking around at first. But when she jokes around, she goes to thinking, somebody might think I'm serious.
But a few people live out as remote as we do. So we deal with a lot of things like Alan was saying. But we do it. We make time because we actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
we enjoy spending time.
Love it. And it's like Kara saying, you know, she didn't want to be that remote, but she loves the view, you know. But hey, we're getting some stuff done. But anyway, let's get into, and I want to hear your input. Don't be scared to put your comment there. You know, I want to hear your comment. You know, it's kind of like Angel is saying, she says, everybody, I talk about Trump, they're already saying that they're tired of all of the vision he's created in this beautiful country, especially Republicans. And, you know, that's your perspective. I won't argue any of that, but of course I would probably disagree. And it really doesn't matter, because the point here is not disagreeing with anyone, but thinking and respecting everyone. And I want to hear your input. You know, why are you for Kamala? Is it because she's a woman, or is it because of her policies? Why are you for Trump, or why are you against Trump? You know, there's all kind of great things. But today I'm going to, you know, it's like I say, we respect everybody. And I'm going to just give you my thoughts, my perspective. Now, Saeem says, well, the U.S. elections will not affect Costa Rica at all. Well, that is your perspective, and I completely disagree, and that's okay. I think it's going to affect it tremendously, but that's based on my experience of having been in Costa Rica for 11 years and having seen what has happened in the past and what I think is going to happen in the future. So I'm going to share a lot of that. But remember, it's really all about being respectful. And it's kind of like John says, hey, I agree completely. What is your thoughts on, because you asked me to highlight that.
Oh, yeah, I agree with what he's, his sentiments, what he's saying. Yeah.
You know, John says, hey,
do what you want, but don't force me to do it.
Yeah, don't chastise me for not thinking like you. You know, and that's what I said earlier. So anyway, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, and I'm gonna talk about some different things, because will the elections affect Costa Rica? Do you think the elections are gonna affect some things in Costa Rica?
Not immediately, but it has been my experience that shortly thereafter, the months following, maybe a year or so following, it does trickle down to affecting Costa Rica, because when, you know, 4 years ago, when the Biden-Harris administration came in and things started, you know, everything got more expensive. So it affected Costa Rica as well. We saw everything here get more expensive. And that's because a lot of things are imported, and, you know, it does. Right. That's the main thing that affects.
So, you know, the biggest reason why I say absolutely the elections are going to affect Costa Rica, because, hey, the majority of the stuff that Costa Rica gets comes from two places, China and the United States, okay? China's got sends a ton of stuff. Well, China doesn't send, but, you know, a lot of realtors, I mean, a lot of stores buy their stuff from China, and they're buying junk, okay? So, but that's what people can afford, okay? But there's a lot of stuff, vehicles, a lot of other things that come from the United States. So if inflation and if everything gets expensive, crazy in the United States, like it has the last 4 years, well, then that's going to trickle down to Costa Rica, and it's going to be expensive in Costa Rica. And keep in mind, Costa Rica has always been expensive, okay? But bottom line, for me, it really doesn't matter who is in office, because while things are going to change, people are going to adapt. But that's why we're having this conversation. Depending on who comes in, how should you adapt? What should you be thinking about? And that's what we're going to talk about. So let's kind of get into it. So, hey, I want to hear hey, this is a good one. This is some good old Cold Islands apple juice. Another fresh batch. Anyway. Now, and I agree. Hey, look, Randy says USA will get much crazier no matter who's in office. And I think he's absolutely right in that, because whether you're for Trump, for Kamala or not, things have gone kind of crazy over the last 8 years, and well, longer than that, really. And so, because the world is, I've never been much of a political person. Rebecca knows way more about politics than I do. She watches it and gives me the highlights. But based on my experience, I like to give you and share with you what I think is going to happen, and maybe some things you need to be thinking about. Okay, so let's start with where we're already at. Okay, so where we're already at is that we have the current administration, which would be the Biden and Kamala administration. And let's just say that Kamala wins. If Kamala wins, what changes will happen? Well, in my opinion, I don't think any change is going to happen. Matter of fact, with an interview with Kamala Harris, they asked her if for the last 4 years of being vice president, is there anything she would change and do differently? She said she wouldn't change a single thing. So based on what she said, that tells me if she wouldn't change a single thing, then let's take a look at the problems that we have. The United States has a ton of problems with hundreds upon thousands, millions of illegal aliens that have come in, taken over, causing lots of deaths, murders, stealing, theft, increase in crime, okay? And it's hard for me to fathom a country like the United States allowing some of these people to come in, take over whole housing complexes, apartment complexes, terrorizing these people and forcing them to pay them instead of the actual owners, okay? I can't imagine that. So, that's just a tip of the iceberg. And so if Kamala wouldn't change anything, then in my opinion, a lot more illegal immigrants are going to come in.
Well, that policy has already, the policy of open border has already affected Costa Rica over the last 4 years. We have seen tons of people passing through the country, coming from South America, just passing through,
coming from all over.
Yeah, trying to make their way to the United States, not just on foot, but in buses. I think there are flights that are going over as well. But some people that crossed on foot have gotten, just stayed here. A lot of them, they run out of money, so they stay here. They're begging on the side of the road. They have signs. They have their poor little kids, in the median
and it may not even
of the
be
highway.
Their kids. They got someone else's kid, and it's to make you feel sorry for them, so you'll give them money.
Yeah, well, that tends to happen probably more in the United States. I think here, I don't know myself, but it seems like families have kind of there's a lot of families that are stuck here, gotten stuck, and so that has caused a lot of crime in Costa Rica. So that's another example of how what happens in the United States affects Costa Rica. Yeah, now it affects other countries. Costa Rica has pretty stringent rules for immigration. If you're here in the country, we have to follow all these rules to stay in the country, to get into the country. Now, on their borders, like with Nicaragua, there are migrants because of the turmoil in Nicaragua and the ruling class there. A lot of Nicaraguans have migrated to Costa Rica illegally. So they can't work. You know, it's causing a lot of problems. If you talk to any Costa Rican, they will tell you an earful.
So keep in mind that, you know, I'm not going to be harping on Kamala, but we're talking about Kamala because that's the condition we're in. I'll be talking about Trump here in a moment. Okay. So if the thing is, you know, Kamala says she wouldn't change a thing. Well, then I expect that inflation is not going to go down. Things are going to only get more expensive, which means that if things get more expensive in the United States, it's going to be more expensive in Costa Rica. Now, this is just my opinion, only my perspective. I could be completely 100% wrong. But if Kamala does get in, I really believe that we're going to see a mass exodus of a lot of people in the United States leaving, going to Costa Rica because they want to be able to enjoy their freedoms without the terrorist threat of illegals or illegal aliens. Okay. And, you know, they want to be able to, if it's going to be so dang expensive, you can't afford to live in the United States, they might as well sell all their crap, go to Costa Rica, enjoy paradise, and live there. Because in my opinion, I could be wrong about this completely. In my opinion, I don't think Costa Rica will ever be as liberal or as crazy as the United States is right now. Okay. Matter of fact, if it were to ever get that bad, the locals, you know, they take crime in their own hands whenever the police don't do anything about it. Okay. And, you know, in the United States, you take crime in your own hands, they lock you up for defending yourself. So, you know, anyway, it don't make sense. So anyway, those are just some things that I'm seeing. So Kamala wouldn't change anything. I think that we're going to see a lot of people coming this way. I think we're going to see inflation worse, illegals worse. I just don't see anything getting any better. And we're just going to have 4 years of pain. Now, let's go into what would happen. That's just my thoughts. Now, if you are for Kamala, and she wins, hey, congrats. I'm happy for you, okay? And if you're for Kamala, well, then you should not come to Costa Rica because you're going to get, if you're for Kamala, then life should be awesome for you in the United States. And there'd be no reason for you to even think about coming to Costa Rica because you will not enjoy any of Kamala policies in Costa Rica. And the whole reason you'd be for her is because you're voting for her policies and you believe in what she can do.
Costa Rica is not a liberal.
No, Costa Rica is not liberal.
It's very conservative with very conservative policies. Things are changing a bit,
but yeah. So if you're for Kamala, hey, congrats. Stay in the United States because Costa Rica is not for you. Okay. Now let's transition over to Trump. Okay. Now, if Trump wins, I think that we're going to see inflation drop. We're going to see him put an end to illegal aliens. And I think now, you know what? United States has always welcomed immigrants. You're welcome to come to the United States, but you got to come legally. Okay. You got to do the paperwork. You got to do your due diligence. Okay. But Trump is going to put an end and he's going to deport millions of illegal aliens. No doubt about it. Okay. Trump is a common sense kind of guy. Okay. And he's got some really great policies in effect. Now, if he gets in, think about this. Things are going to be good, in my opinion, for 4 years, but don't sit on your laurels. And 4 years, he has to get out. Okay. He's already served 4. And in the 4 years he served, man, we enjoyed an awesome economy. Okay. Everything was great, but it only took less than a couple of weeks for Biden to change everything and just reverse any headway that Trump made. So Trump coming in 4 years could be a very good thing for the United States. It would be a very good thing for Costa Rica. And while I think everything's going to get better, I don't think we're going to have a max exodus. I think we're still going to get people coming to Costa Rica just simply because they want to retire. They want to live in a different place. They're tired of the cold weather. Well,
they may come for vacation since they'll be keeping more of their money.
Right. Things would be it'd be more affordable for them to be able to go. Okay. Now, so I think still people are going to come. I think a ton of people are going to come if Trump wins. But I think that's not going to be the case if Trump wins. If Trump wins, people are going to stay. They're going to see how things change. I think things are going to change quickly, but, you know, everything does take time. Okay. Now, I think it's going to make a humongous difference in the lives of people. And I really think that he's going to really clean up the swamp, as people say, and he's going to get rid of a lot of the crooked stuff that is happening. That is,
We
if
can
they
only
don't
hope.
kill him, okay? Because they've already tried to kill him several
we can
times,
only hope he
and
gets
that's
the
really,
chance.
really sad, okay?
Yeah.
Really sad. So now, if Trump gets in, that's going to make things way, way better for Costa Rica. Matter of fact, it's going to be better for almost every country if you want to play by the rules. As we saw in the past, China didn't want to play by the rules, and Trump made it very difficult for them to export anything to the United States, and that's the way it should be. Costa Rica makes it very, very difficult for us to buy things from, or to, bring stuff from Amazon here. Why? It makes sense. Costa Rica wants you to spend your money with Costa Rica, okay? And that makes sense. The Costa Rica is for their own country. It would make better sense if, anyway, I won't get into all that, but the point is, that's what I think is going to happen. So now, if Trump gets in and you're not for Trump, well, don't move to Costa Rica, because it ain't going to be better in Costa Rica for you than it is going to be in the United States. You're actually going to be safer in the United States, okay? But it's all still a preference, right? It all depends on what you want.
Yeah, we used to see Costa Rica is known as the best place for retirement. Some years it's number one, some years it's further down on the list. But over the last 4 years, we've seen an influx of younger people, young families, escaping from the tyranny in Canada, escaping from some of the things that they didn't like in the United States. So it hopefully will go back to being just a nice place for retirement, and that people can begin to enjoy where they live again.
Yeah. Now, Saeem says he just spent 10 days in Costa Rica. It's more expensive here in the U.S., he says. Okay, so depending on where he's at. And I could have went to a soda, and I still love shopping at the Super Negro in Puerto Viejo. We used to shop at the Super Negro
we know
ourselves.
exactly.
Okay?
I like that store.
And so, the deal is, depending on where you're from, some places in the United States are cheaper, but, not anymore. Everything in the United States, because of the last 4 years, everything in the United States is way more expensive than Costa Rica. The most expensive thing about Costa Rica is eating the food, shopping the food, buying stuff. And there's
import
yeah,
stuff.
everything is imported. So it's so expensive, but that's because inflation is so crazy in the United States.
And as we've said a lot of times, if you want to live and eat like the locals, like the average Chico, then it's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's not that bad. So but it's all about adjusting your lifestyle, right?
Right.
Now, check out what Eduardo says. He says, regardless whether it's Obama, Trump, or anybody, ever since 1992, he always wanted to move to Guanacaste, Costa Rica.
Right.
And that is going to always happen regardless of who's in power, okay? Guess what? There's always going to be people who want to come to Costa Rica or other parts of the world, okay?
In fact, when we came for the beauty of the country, nature, being able to live off grid. Those are the reasons we came. It had nothing to do with who was in power.
At that particular time, I don't even remember who was in power.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Life, 11 years ago, life in the United States I was still proud to be an American. Well, now I hate to admit that I'm American because it's so sad to see what has happened to the United States. Okay, but there's a lot of people like Randy who believe, hey, no matter who's in the White House, whether it's Trump, whether it's Kamala, or whether it's Tom, Dick, and Harry, he says the United States economy is going to crash. And, I can agree in part. So if it is going to crash, then why not be in a place like Costa Rica where you could be? You don't have to be as remote as we are. But if you're in Costa Rica, does it matter if the economy crashes or not? Because you can be self-sustainable if you've got an acre of land. Just an acre of land. I would obviously look for an acre of land that's got water on it. But you can be self-sustainable and you can enjoy life regardless whether a zombie apocalypse is happening or not.
Yeah, I joke about that. I say I wouldn't recommend living, as remotely as we live, but I actually love it. So I think there are some people that would love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of scanning through here because I like to look at some of the comments and see what's happening. So, but hey, look, ask Rebecca. She really don't like talking politics. Okay. Matter of fact, she told me she wasn't going to talk politics. I thought I was going to be here by myself.
Well, I don't like it because people get so upset. I mean, I don't care who you're voting for, but then sometimes when I say who I'm voting for, they freak out. And you know, just I don't like confrontation. I don't want to fight with people. I don't want to argue with people. You know, so I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do regardless. You know, I've made up my mind. I've done a lot of research.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, I agree with this person here. I can't pronounce your name. I don't even know if that's spelled right, but I bet it is. Anyway, you know, he said, I just hope that whoever wins takes care of our veterans.
Amen.
And I agree. I don't think that's going to be the case with Kamala. I don't think she cares about our veterans. I don't think she even cares about the country. That's just my
not
personal
unless
opinion.
our veterans want to denounce their citizenship, leave the country, and then go back in.
Yeah, I mean, if I denounce my citizenship and then go back in as an illegal alien, I'd be set up. I'm thinking about doing that. No, I'd never leave Costa Rica. So anyway, it will be interesting to see what actually does happen. Okay.
Yeah, it's really sad that our veterans do not have more, even in the line of you know, help with PTSD.
Well, I mean, if we take a look at, you know, everybody knows, you know, the horrible thing that happened in North Carolina, the tremendous flood that killed hundreds of people. And, you know, our current administration, Kamala, oh, we don't have no money for you. We gave all our money away. FEMA couldn't help nobody because they used all of FEMA money for illegal aliens. So illegal aliens are getting thousands upon thousands of dollars. And all these people lost everything, got a $750 debit card. What does that tell you about our current administration? Well, that tells me if they can't take care of our people and they care more about the illegals than they do about me.
Oh, and you know, it's sad with that 750, they had to apply for that.
And they got
and lots of people did not qualify.
Yeah. So, you know, so anyway, there's a lot of things that can happen. But like I said, hey, if you are for Kamala, I completely respect you. That's your choice, and I think you should be able to do whatever you want to do. So I'm not here banging on one or the other, but this is just my opinion. So, you know, if Trump does win, as we're still talking about that, I said you need to be thinking about a couple of things. He's only going to be there 4 years. I would hope that, you know, maybe another good person will come in after him. But if he doesn't, okay, then they could immediately do their best to kind of reverse everything, and then you're back in the same boat that you're in now. So you really need to be thinking, okay, at most we got 4 good years, you know, of Trump being in, but what's going to happen afterwards? So don't be sitting on your laurels and doing nothing. Be thinking about, you know, should I get to Costa Rica as soon as possible? Oh, hey, Trump's in. No worries. Life is good again. Don't need to leave. And then at the end of 4 years, you're like, oh crap, I messed up. So, you know, I always say, think into the future, good or bad. Have a strategic plan. If you're serious about going to Costa Rica, hey, you have got to understand that whatever happens in the United States, it's going to trickle down into Costa Rica. It does. Now, let's just say that the United States is wiped off the map. Will Costa Rica survive? Yes, absolutely. Okay. But because Costa Rica gets so much stuff from there, what happens in the United States does affect every single country. Okay.
I like what Ed said, right there, that Trump
Right
one above, Trump will definitely take care of the veterans.
Trump really respects veterans, and he's never claimed to be a veteran, never claimed to go to war. Anyway, he believes in taking care of the American people, and he will take care of immigrants, legal immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, Trump loves everybody.
Despite what mainstream media says, if you're listening to just mainstream media or legacy media, then you have a totally different perspective. And I understand that.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, and Siam, who disagreed with me, is saying, okay, I buy your premise on the trickle down, but a Costa Rican will still, I don't know what that word is, and over. Oh no, the Costa Ricans. I don't care what happens in the United States. Costa Ricans gonna always give you the gringo price. They always gonna overcharge you. It don't matter if everything is a penny. They're gonna charge you 2 pennies.
It's just customary.
You have to understand, and I'm not talking bad about Ticos. It's the culture. It's what they do. It's ingrained in them. That's one thing. It's just like I'm a Cajun. Okay, it is in my DNA to eat crawfish. I love crawfish. I love spicy food, and nothing you can do is ever going to change that. Okay, I'm a Cajun. And so it's the same way. You can't change culture. Nothing changes culture. Culture is culture. Culture will always be culture. And Ticos have their very own culture. And I say it all the time. The more you understand about the Costa Rican culture, the better you will be able to integrate into Costa Rica. The better you're going to be able to enjoy Costa Rica. Because I fought the culture, not realizing I was fighting the culture, because while I understood Japanese culture, I understood my own culture, I just thought, why are these people doing this crap? Why are they so crooked? Well, it's the culture. If you understand the culture, then you can stop being mad at what's happening and begin to say, okay, it's part of the culture. Now that I know that, I can be prepared. Here's what to do when this scenario happens. This is what to do in this scenario. You got to be prepared. So, anyway, I got off on a rabbit trail.
Look, Doug says chorizo is a sausage.
Made different styles of spices. So anyway, I'm Cajun, but I don't know that I want to go quite that far, John. So there's a lot of Cajun that will suck them crawfish heads.
Yeah.
Not me. There's only meat in the tail and fat in the heads. So I'll leave it there.
That's where the seasoning is in the head.
Look, if I tried sucking them crawfish heads one time. My lips were so red and burnt up. I was like, I ain't doing that again. You can't enjoy the crawfish. You can't enjoy the crawfish then. So, and then now, Eduardo says, the most important thing is that, hey, we're all getting older and living in a home for old people in the U.S. Well, I don't want that to happen to us. And, that's at one point in time, I didn't realize they actually had old folks' homes in Costa Rica. They do. There's not many at all. Okay. And it may only be in San Jose, but I spoke to someone that said there was one in San Isidro. I'm going to investigate more because I want to find out more about that. Okay.
But see, that's part of the Costa Rican culture that I really like. They are still so family oriented. The families live together and they take care of their elderly in the home. They don't. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you can't provide the care that an elderly person needs, and I'm sure that's why they do have some facilities, because sometimes it absolutely is necessary, but they don't have very many, and we see all the time older people being taken care of, living with their son or daughter.
And it's part of the culture in Costa Rica that there's still grown children living with their parents. There's a lot of people that will live in the same household. One, because the community is very poor, the family's very poor, but it's very typical. But
again, that's off in the countryside. That's not in San Jose.
I'm sure in San Jose they still taking care of their elderly, but things in San Jose are different. And Siam says, hey, chorizo in Costa Rica also means, it's a slang term, means that you're getting scammed. Hey, I'm so glad that you threw that in there, Siam, because it kind of threw me off. So
dual meaning word.
Yeah. Now, Doug says, senior homes are all over Costa Rica. He says, my wife, now his wife, in case you don't know, is a Tica. So his wife's cousin helps out in one over in Sarchi. So, hey, see, I didn't realize, hey, I've been all over Costa Rica, and I don't declare that I know everything about Costa Rica. Now, I know a ton of stuff, and I do a ton of stuff. But you know what? There's no way to know everything. And that's why I say, hey, we share our perspective. You don't have to agree with me. I want to hear your perspective. And I love having these lives because I learn stuff from you guys by being, by talking, by commenting, by sharing. That's
Yeah.
what I love about these lives.
We've learned a lot of stuff from Randy and from Doug.
Yeah, you know. So anyway, you know, and when you come to, one of the things I love about coming to Costa Rica, Laurie says, I'm all for eliminating taxes on Social Security. And I think that's one of the things that Trump is talking about. You know what? That ought to be one of the biggest. I think people ought to have to go to, I think the government should go to jail for charging people tax on your Social Security. Wait a minute. Social Security is the tax you paid. So you already paid it. Why should you be taxed on your tax? That's crooked. Anyway, but one of the things about coming to Costa Rica is that save money, you're not paying nearly as much tax. So if you still have an income and you're making money like us, we're not retired. Okay, so if you are retired, you don't have to pay Costa Rica tax on your income. You don't pay tax on your retirement. And I save a lot of money because I don't have to pay tax on my income to the United States under a certain number. It's somewhere over 120,000 a year. So as long as I make under 120,000, then I don't pay tax on that. If I make over 120,000, that number is not exact, then I have to pay tax on that. So you do save money on taxes by moving to Costa Rica. So that's just something that I thought about as Laurie put that up, okay?
Yeah, you still have to file those.
This is interesting. So Laurie says, when I say Kamala, my comments won't post. Really? Try again. That would just blow my mind. And if you can't post when you say Kamala, well, then try putting her name as Pamela, and we'll know who you're talking about. But that would blow my mind if you can't put Kamala here. But that's just the way the algorithms have been made now. It's very crooked. But hey, thanks for letting me know about that, Laurie.
Or what is it? Just showing up in the live feed or something?
I don't know. It's not showing up at all. Or from what I'm saying. So
because. Well, I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the taxes, you still have to pay, even if you're in Costa Rica, you still have to file your taxes if you have an income, and you still have to pay Social Security and Medicare on those on that income. You're just exempt from federal.
So Randy tested it out, and he's not having any problem putting it in there. So so anyway, that's funny, Doug, but I won't throw that up there. But that is funny. That's funny, Doug.
Do not put that up.
No, I won't put that up. Anyway, if you want to know what we're laughing at, you're going to have to just watch this and read the comments. Yeah. So my point is that if you come to Costa Rica, regardless of who's in office, you really can enjoy life in Costa Rica. Not trying to talk you into coming to Costa Rica, so that, hey, by the way, we help you move to Costa Rica, and we've conned hundreds of people. I mean, we helped hundreds of people come to Costa Rica. No, I don't have any product and services to sell, but you can support this channel. We don't have a Patreon, but hey, we do have a members only area, $10 a month, and you have direct access to us. If you've got questions, you're wondering about this, wondering about that, you want a game plan to come to Costa Rica, you can always schedule a phone consultation, or you can ask enough questions in the members area. It's well worth it. You'll save thousands upon thousands of dollars just by supporting us, joining the members area. And we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Matter of fact, I need to say this all the time. I greatly appreciate, because we've got people that have been supporting us for years, ever since I opened up the members area. They're not active, but they just pay that $10 a month just to show their appreciation. And we greatly, greatly appreciate you. Really do appreciate you supporting us. It gives us incentive to keep doing what we're doing for free.
Yeah, and a benefit of the members area is that you can ask other members questions that are in there. And so it's not just our experiences and perspective. You can hear from other people.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is being in the members area. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how much value you will get out of that. To me, it's priceless. And because you really can ask all kind of questions, and you can research and look at all of the different comments, and you can learn a lot of stuff there. And I like to put in there, I mean, if there's businesses that I've had bad dealings with, and I feel like they're crooked, I put them in the members area. That way, if you're thinking about using this company for residency, well, if you look in the members area, it will clearly tell you, do not use Joanna and her husband, what's his name?
Glenn.
Glenn. Don't use Glenn and Joanna, because they'll rip you off. I'm just giving you my experience. We paid over $4,000 and so much more when you count all the expense. 8 years later, he just let us on, and never got residency. So stuff like that, we put it in the members area so that you know who to beware of. We also have recommendations of people that, hey, we believe are honest, trustworthy, and can help you. So, hey, Randy says, hey, he loves the members area. He likes members area. He's in there all the time. This person says, do you request a vote by mail ballot to be sent to Costa Rica? Now, I think you can. I don't know that for fact. Go ahead.
You can request it, but it is past the deadline now. I think the deadline was like October 6th, and you have to get it back to the embassy. You have to have it by October 6th, and the embassy then makes sure that it gets to your state. But there is also a way, if you go to the embassy, the U.S. Embassy website in Costa Rica, and research about voting, you can, there are alternate ways to vote besides a mail-in ballot.
So, I thought about the mail-in ballot, but there was so many problems with mail-in ballot, the last election. And look, I've already seen videos where the mail-in ballots are found in the sewers. People, so people are sending in their mail-in ballots and they end up in the trash. Why is that? Okay. So to me, it's just not a safe way to do your vote. Find a better way to vote than a mail-in ballot, because it's a physical piece of paper. It's too easy for the corrupt from one side or the other to throw it away.
But
so,
sometimes that's your only alternative.
If that's your only alternative, you can hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of comments in here, and if I haven't asked your question, be sure to put it in there. And like Eduardo says here, one of the benefits of being in Costa Rica is that older people in Costa Rica are healthier than in the United States, and that's absolutely true. Matter of fact, yesterday was my neighbor's father's birthday. You've seen him in the videos. He's out there 70. He just turned 79 yesterday, and he's out there helping us clear out landslides. 79 years old, swinging a shovel, a pick, and he's helping us work. And he'll be out there all day working, okay? And so, hey, I went out to go visit him and celebrate his birthday with him yesterday. But, hey, it's true. Costa Rica just tends to make people healthier if you choose that type of lifestyle.
In fact, that was one of the reasons that we decided to move to Costa Rica. I mean, I just came up with the idea, but then, and we kind of decided, but the more we researched, we found that it was answering some of the problems. Remember, we were so tired of the food, like we couldn't buy a good tasting or real tasting tomato. And this is, going on 12 years ago. Yeah. Couldn't find a real tasting cucumber.
It's like everything tasted like water. Didn't have any flavor.
Yeah, and then we were seeing all the, don't eat this tilapia, don't eat this chicken, don't, trying to buy organic, and then finding out that even organic is, it was terrible. I felt like every time we were grocery shopping that we were buying poison. And so that was one of the main reasons that we wanted to move to Costa Rica, besides the beauty and the weather, was to be able to grow our own food and not have to be subject. I love what Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy is proposing about making America healthy again. That is really, really needed, because some people are making a lot of money off of poisoning the United States people and children.
Yeah, it's a shame. Now, and another reason, but for coming in, Siam shares, he ate almost every night in Puerto Viejo. On average, it costs him about 6,300 colones. Hey, that's under $13, right? Now, and I'm sure he's probably eating a lot of the sodas, because you can go to some of the other restaurants, finer restaurants, and it's a whole lot more. But no, if you want to eat on a budget, you can eat out at the sodas, and it's exactly what he is sharing. And so you can most definitely eat very affordable if you want to, okay?
Yeah, I find some of the regular, like the restaurants, everything is getting to be about 8,000 colones. Don't you find most of the time our meals are around 8,000, and they used to be 4,000. Used to be, 4,500, 5,000 was the average, and now it's like 8,000.
Yeah. I've seen prices, now I got to say this though, for the 11 years that we've been here, while what happens in the United States does affect us, based on when we came here 11 years ago, the colonna rate was about what it is today, about 530 colonas to the dollar. Okay. Now, it was cheaper to buy things, but do you think it was that much cheaper? Was it a huge difference, do you think?
Yeah.
You think it's a huge difference?
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't feel like it was that big of a difference. It is more expensive, okay, now because of the inflation in the United States. I think the last 4 years is where we've seen a fairly big difference.
Yeah, from now, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
from grocery shopping now today versus when we got here. Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah, and so the inflation has really made it. I personally don't know how the Ticos, the locals,
I don't know how everybody.
I don't know how they have enough money to actually live life, but a lot of them are living with families, and so they're pooling their money together. Okay. So, but hey, if I haven't answered your question, please put your question in the comment box. But anyway, as we talk about it, I'd like to hear. Put in the comment, who do you think is going to win? Do you think Kamala is going to be the first female president? Do you think Trump is going to win? I personally, here's my opinion. This is just my opinion. And here's what I hope. It's my opinion, and it's also what I hope. I actually hope that I actually hope Trump will become the next president, because I really think he has a heart to serve people. He actually has a heart to make America great. He actually has a heart to help everybody. Okay. Now, a lot of people say that he has got, all kind of, he don't have he's not a politician, or he's not my best friend. I don't care how he talks, but you know what? He knows how to manage a country. He knows how to manage a business, and he does want to help people. So, hey, while he may not hold his tongue, he may not say things the way you like it, he's not there trying to be friends with everybody, okay? And it's like me. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'll call you out, okay? I'm not worried about hurting your feelings, and Trump's not worried about hurting your feelings. He's going to, hey, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, if you're in a war, you're in a battle zone, do you want a nice general that just says everything all nice, or do you want one that knows what the heck they're doing?
That's right.
Who knows, has strategy. It's proven in battle.
That's right.
If you're in a business, you're investing with someone to start a business, you want to go into business with somebody that's just nice, or do you want somebody who can actually run a business? I would love to see all the swamp drained, and the wasteful spending cut, and the money, the trillions of dollars that they collect in taxes going towards the things that Americans, the majority of Americans value and want to see it going to.
With what you were saying with Trump and Kennedy getting in there, Trump wants to make America great. Robert Kennedy wants to make America healthy again. And it's like what Kara was saying right here. She says, we got some chicken from Walmart that just would not cook. Cooked it on a stovetop, then we grilled it, then the oven, it wouldn't cook. The dogs wouldn't even eat it. It's sad. A lot of stuff. I've always been scared to eat chicken because, a lot of the meats in the United States are pumped so full of hormones and chemicals. I'm scared to eat it.
Everything's about the mighty dollar.
Yeah.
Look at I can't believe it's butter. Margarine.
Margarine, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not butter. It's not.
As a kid, I remember us getting that, and it spread so much easier than the real butter, and just to come to find out, it was.
Look, if you
put it outside, nothing will eat it.
The first time I heard about margarine being so bad, someone said the bugs wouldn't land on it, the dogs wouldn't eat it, and I'm like, because I used to buy margarine. Well, we were poor, right? So I took a tub of margarine and I put it outside. And Rebecca's got this big old dog that would eat anything. I put that margarine outside. it wouldn't melt. The dog wouldn't eat it. Dog went up, sniffed it, and walked away. The flies didn't get on it. Bugs didn't get on it. So if you're eating margarine on your toast, you're probably 50% chemical or plastic yourself. You should stop eating that stuff. But there's a lot of food in the United States
that should have never
terrible.
been allowed to be sold to the public.
Yeah,
to the people.
You know, but it. So you know, that's one of the things I love about being in Costa Rica, because hey, as soon as I get in the house, which hopefully that's real soon, we'll get our garden going. I'll start raising quail, because quail grow really fast and they make a great meat to eat. And we'll have trout up here. And, you know, so I want to eat healthy. I'm a physical fitness nut. I'm a health nut. And that's why I'm 99 years old and I look like I'm 40. That's because I eat healthy and I exercise. So I look good for my age, don't I? What do you think? So anyway, you can really enjoy life in Costa Rica. But hey, I'm looking, there's a lot of comments. And so we obviously have a lot of fans, a lot of Trump fans here. And we have a couple of Kamala fans. I haven't seen many of them say anything. But hey, I don't care what you believe. I respect what you believe. And I hope you respect what we believe, you know. So we just simply definitely, we're hoping for the best. Laurie says, when the podcast is over, see how many comments say Kamala. I think I'm going to do that, Laurie. I'm kind of curious. But hey, we see that a lot of times where the algorithms will keep you from saying some things. And
censorship, that's another issue.
Yeah,
that's another problem.
You
know? If the Americans lose, in the United States, lose the right to free speech, if it is allowed that the government decides what is hate speech, that's the end. Yeah. That's the end. You'll never know the truth again.
Yeah. I mean, it really, right now, if Kamala, and so I told you, I'm hoping Trump is going to win. I really think things are going to be better. Now, if Kamala does win, people, in my honest opinion, you need to be scared. You need to run for your life. I'm serious. I'm not joking. If Kamala wins, then if you're a good person at all, you need to run for your life, because our country will not be free ever again. And that's just my opinion. Okay. So we only got about 16 days left before we find out what happens. However, in 16 days, we just find out who wins. Okay. But that doesn't mean anything until January, whenever power changes hand. And I'm hearing through the grapevine, I'm hearing through the underground news that when January comes, that the current administration is not going to, if they were to lose, that they would not turn over power. So I don't know what would happen, but we do need to be prepared. Yeah. And that's what this channel is always about. We're always, we give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about Costa Rica. And so anyway, we timed out for just a little bit. And, Gustav says, if Kamala wins, it could be the end of the world. Wars around the globe will increase. And, hey, there's a lot to that. You know, right now there are lots of wars going on. And war is a way for the country to make a ton of money. And that's really the bottom line. And so, hey, I think it could happen a whole lot.
Yeah, we got warmongers in our government. It's not good. Yeah.
So anyway, but it's kind of like Randy says right here. I'm part of no tribe, and that's me. I'm not a part of any tribe. I'm first and foremost a Christian. I make decisions based on my own moral values. Okay, and I make those choices for my family. Okay, Rebecca, she agrees with me 100%. We do things together as a Christian family. Hey, if you're not a Christian, that's okay. If you worship the doorknob or the trees or the bananas or the mountains, whatever, it's okay. But that's what we do, and so that's how we guide our life, and we just enjoy a life, and we try to always be positive about everything. But while being positive, we like to be real, And we like to help as many people as we can to be prepared for what may or may not come. All right. Let me see here. So now, hey, where Karen Signs now says, hey, just FYI, he says Costa Rica signed a really bad deal with Israel about a year ago, and it's now completely off his list of possible future homes. And hey, what I would say is I wouldn't let that keep you, because Costa Rica signs deals with everybody if they are able to get a little bit of money. But it don't mean that's just my 2 cents. I don't know what that deal is, but hey,
I will try to
person,
look into that though, because I try to keep up with it, but I have to follow English speaking
it looks like we're timing out, and it looks like Elon Musk must be sending me a signal that our hour is up. So, hey, folks, hey, our hour is up. My Allen's apple juice is just about out. So I can't wait to see you next Sunday. Same time, same station, same channel, as we always give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the only place that you'll get the unbridled living in Costa Rica truth. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure to comment under the video after the live is over. It helps support us in a great, great way. Tells the algorithm that you love us and helps it to share it with a lot of other people. See you next week.
Ciao.